All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new. Another stream. I want to thank you guys as always for waiting patiently as the credits roll. Gives me a little bit of extra time, as I always say, to just get everything sorted, make sure everything is going smoothly. But yes, welcome everybody to the stream. Yet another stream. I gotta be honest, I wasn't sure if I was going to be streaming today or not, but I figured we could go for it. Let's talk about some stuff. Saying the beard is already growing. Yes, it is. It's already coming back. See some of you guys in the chat asking for an MBG Kratos cosplay. Never done a cosplay before. If I were to do that, I would obviously need my beard to come back in full, unless I wanted to go like a younger Kratos, but I don't know that I could. I don't know that I have the jawline to pull that off. But yeah, welcome guys. We definitely have some stuff to talk about today, and want to thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for constantly supporting the channel, supporting the content. Always awesome to see. We have some pretty significant things happening in the world of PlayStation. Some significant things that were announced today. Some significant things that were talked about. And so we're going to talk about that today. Before I dive into that, I do have two super chats right off the bat from New Soul 9. So shout out to you, New Soul 9. I appreciate all the super chats that you've been providing the channel here. I'm going to get to them in just a moment. As always, I just want to encourage everybody, I almost said as always twice. Geez, you could tell, man. You could tell. I did not have enough caffeine today. But ways you can help support the show, ways you can help support the stream, support the channel, just simply being here, watching the content, hitting that like button, donating a super chat, becoming a channel member, gifting channel memberships. You guys have been absolutely destroying it over, I'd say, the past week and a half. It's been crazy to see. And honestly, that's probably what motivates me to continue doing these streams as frequently as I do them. So I also want to say with that, and I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm going to wait a little bit to announce it because, that's the thing. Every time I start up a stream, it takes a good, I'd say, 15 to 20 minutes or so, sometimes a little bit longer for people to file in and to hit like not necessarily a peak, but to get enough people to, I guess you could say, justify announcing something. It's not a major announcement, but let me tell you, it's going to be something that I think if you are a channel member, you're going to be interested in. And if you're not a channel member, it might be the thing that, makes you say, you know what, let's do it. So remind me, I might forget. That's the thing, chat. Remind me in about, I'd say 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Let's do 10 minutes. Remind me in about 10 minutes to announce what it is that I was planning on announcing, because that's just how I work. That's how I function. I'll say it at the beginning and I'll forget. Drive by Joe, I see you, man. Drive by Joe, you were gifted a membership during yesterday's podcast episode, and you said that you wanted to pay it forward by gifting a couple of memberships of your own, which is very kind of you. So thank you so much. Shout out to you, Drive by Joe, for gifting 5 memberships. Let's see, we got Jeff B. Gaming, Hellbound 1981, MRPD, The Man 2K, and Hans Hagstrom. I don't know if I said your name correctly, but all gifted memberships right off the bat, thanks to Drive by Joe. So shout out to you, man. Really appreciate that. Anybody who is gifted a membership today will probably be excited because I told you guys I have things that I'm slowly working on. I have perks. I have stuff that I want to add value, or any value I can. Basically, I want to make my memberships the Game Pass of memberships. I'm kidding, of course, but really, though, I am trying to add some value to my memberships, perks, that is, anybody who is a member. So again, in a little bit, I'm going to let you guys know what I'm planning on doing. I just want to wait for more people to get in here, and you're going to hear me talk about it all throughout the week as well. So thank you so much, Drive by Joe. I got Doolin Jones. You're saying PlayStation is getting better and better. Tons of games are in development. Can't wait for the showcase, man. 2020 PlayStation Showcase was epic hype. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. The 2020 Future of Gaming PlayStation 5 showcase was off the wall. I mean, it was wild. I've never seen anything quite like that. I mean, there was just the thing about that. The expectations were so ridiculously high. They were so ridiculously high. Live karaoke member broadcast special. No, we're not quite there yet. Karaoke, dude. I do not consider myself a good singer, so I'm pretty sure if I were to do karaoke live on stream, I would be embarrassing myself. No doubt about that. At least I think so. So it's not that. No, unfortunately. So if you were expecting a karaoke special for members only, unfortunately, that's not what I was going to announce. But Doolin Jones, I absolutely agree, man. The PlayStation 5 showcase was hype, and I can't wait for the next one, dude. I can't wait for the next one. Am I interested in Dead Island? I've actually been playing Dead Island. And it's really, really good. It's really, really good. I gotta say, it's a lot better than I even expected. And you know what I want to say real quick about Dead Island 2 that surprises me playing it on the PS5? It looks really good. Like it's a really beautiful game. It is. The lighting is really good. Like just better than I expected is what I'm trying to say here. Like I really didn't have the highest of expectations for Dead Island 2, but it's surpassing them. Definitely. And Neo Weasley, thank you for becoming a member. Joining Play Has No Limits. Welcome aboard, my friend. Thank you so much. If you want to use this opportunity to gift some memberships, feel free to do so. But either way, thank you so much for that support, my friend. Shout out to you, Neo Weasley. And then we got New Soul 9 with 2 super chats right off the bat. New Soul 9, got to give you a shout out to, my friend. You have been donating a lot of super chats, with each stream I do, basically. So really very much appreciate that, man. So you say here, MBG, I want to understand something. You said that Xbox need to make their games like PlayStation and keep it consistent. How is that going to exactly work? If the whole point of this studio joining Xbox was because they got promises, they would have the freedom. What you're trying to say is they basically were promised that they would have the freedom to do any type of game. In order for that consistency to happen, Xbox would basically have to break their promises and get involved in the development of their studio. Well, that's a good point, New Soul 9, and that's true. I've been saying over this past week that I think what Xbox needs to do is pretty much do what Sony has been doing, and that does come in the form of make some more single-player AAA games, right? Like make games that are similar to the type of games that Sony's making and try to make them as good as that, if that's a possibility. But you're basically saying that, well, Microsoft is out here, they're acquiring Bethesda, they're acquiring all these independent studios, they're acquiring Activision Blizzard, and the big promise, what convinces a lot of these more independent studios or publishers to, be purchased by Microsoft is you'll have freedom to do what you want. So you are correct in that it would not be a wise move for Microsoft to then go up to these studios and say, listen, we want you to basically do what PlayStation's doing. I agree that would not be a wise move, but I guess the thing that I think could work is if Microsoft were to at least take some of those studios, like, all right, I'll use Ninja Theory as an example. Ninja Theory to me is the only studio underneath Microsoft that I can see right now that's getting ready to release a game in the next year or so. I would assume, like I'm just assuming Hellblade 2 is coming out in the next year, maybe 2 years. But they're the only studio that when they put this game out, I think this is going to be like wow, this looks like a PlayStation level single player exclusive. That's what this game is like. But unfortunately, I don't know that there are many other studios underneath Microsoft that I could say the same about, right? Like Ninja Theory to me really is the only studio that stands out. And so maybe what we could see happen in the future is when Hellblade 2 comes out, if it's a big hit and People are out here basically being like, yo, this is Microsoft's version of like a single player PlayStation exclusive, right? This is that game, finally. It might inspire other studios underneath Microsoft to look at that and think, Ninja Theory did it and they had the technology to do it. Maybe we should follow them now. You get what I'm saying? If that makes sense. So maybe Microsoft won't have to mandate anything, and they're not going to. You're right about that. Microsoft isn't going to turn to their studios that they're buying and saying, okay, you guys need to copy Sony now and basically try to make the same type of games or have the same level of quality. Of course, I think Microsoft would love that, but they can't just turn to their studios. I think their best bet is Ninja Theory basically paving the way, where it's like, see, we can do it. We gave Xbox that type of game. And so maybe that's a thing that will happen in the future in New Soul 9. But you are correct in that Microsoft, to be honest with you, Microsoft can break their promise if they want. If they promise the studio, like, hey, you can do whatever you want. If Microsoft wants to change their mind, they own that studio. They can do whatever they want with that studio. It would just be an unwise move. They're likely to end up leaving. They're likely to end up leaving. The talent, that is. And I actually forgot to add, let me see here. So I think we're at 6 members already, which is very impressive. Very impressive. Thank you guys for that. Only have a membership goal of 10 today, which is a lot in my opinion. So the fact that we're already at 6 out of 10, very cool, guys. Very cool. And then we have Shadow Moss saying, you got that newborn baby look, LOL. I'm a big fan. Yeah, got that baby face going on. But as the week goes on, you'll see it's going to grow in pretty quick. So enjoy it while it lasts. So some of the topics that I want to discuss with you guys today. The first one is, I think, pretty interesting. We have Sony's Shuhei Yoshida, and shout out to the new Shuhei Yoshida emoji that I have for members. I have it under Master Shu. So shout out to Shuhei Yoshida. I figured, we got a Mark Cerny emoji. We got a, we got a Jim Ryan emoji. We got a Hideo Kojima emoji. Not only did I add Shuhei Yoshida, but I also added King Herman Holst. I love to see it. So yeah, but Shuhei Yoshida did an extensive interview. And he revealed some interesting things. One of the more interesting things that he revealed is how much God of War Ragnarok cost to develop. And he also talked about the live service future and gave his thoughts on it. I have a judgmental saying MBG out here looking like a Caucasian dashi. Jeez, I don't even know what to make of that, bro. I don't even know what to make of that, but I appreciate the super chat. Oh, man. So yeah, I have this article up here. Well, first off, let's talk about how much did God of War Ragnarok cost? See, people don't want to believe Sony, right? At least some people don't want to believe Sony. People want to just believe that Sony is greedy and they're lying when they say that the cost of developing their big AAA games is going up. At least some people believe that they're lying. But we have Shuhei Yoshida, and he says things have become more difficult for game developers in the 25 plus years that Yoshida has been working in the industry. Development costs have skyrocketed. 2010's God of War 3, an extremely expensive game for its time, only cost $44 million to make. Modern PlayStation 5 games, such as God of War Ragnarok, can now cost around $200 million. At the other end of the scale, independent developers are coming out with better games on smaller budgets, meaning getting noticed is harder. So, yeah, this was something that Shuhei Yoshida essentially revealed. God of War 3 cost $44 million to develop. You're saying that God of War budget is not coming from Yoshida? You know what? Hold on. Maybe this is, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, the way that I'm reading it here, it doesn't sound like he said it. Let me look at the actual interview itself and see if I can skim over it real quick, find out where he talks about it. You know what? Maybe Well, it is in the article. Yeah, it says modern PlayStation 5 games such as God of War Ragnarok can cost around $200 million. Now, okay, well, we don't know if that's exactly how much it costs, but it's safe to say that it either cost $200 million or was pretty close to costing $200 million. The point is, like, we don't want to get too far away from the point here. The point is that big budget modern day AAA games, they're becoming, I don't want to say they're becoming unsustainable, because it's not that it's unsustainable, but as the cost of these AAA games increases, the risk, the pressure, it all builds. And you look at a game like God of War Ragnarok. By the way, my neighbor's outside using his leaf blower, so I don't know if that's going to come in through the mic, but if you happen to hear that background noise, that's what you're hearing. But just imagine for a second, God of War Ragnarok not meeting expectations, not hitting the goals, or selling as much as it needed to sell, not making as much money. I mean, it's very risky. I have seen people complain about God of War Ragnarok, saying that they played it too safe with the story, so on and so forth. I mean, look, I disagree, but I mean, I don't think they played it too safe. I can agree that it was a safer story. It was a safer story, but I think it was an amazing story. And we have Chris B coming in. Thank you, Chris, man. Chris, you are showing up nearly every stream gifting memberships. Chris B is out here giving away memberships, like I said, like it's candy. Love to see it. Jean-Claude Duss, Crispy Mango, Ancient Ruins Discovery, Fizz Ismail, and let me see, Robert Hammer, all gifted memberships, thanks to Chris B. So in just a couple of moments here, I'm going to let you guys know what I'm planning on doing. Okay? When it comes to memberships. Let me see. Okay, so Chris B, huge shout out to you, man. Huge shout out to everybody who's been gifting memberships. Let me add those here. We got 5 more incoming, bringing us up to 11. Already crushing the goal for the day. Didn't see that coming. I mean, to be honest, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, it's not that I didn't expect to reach the 10 membership goal, because you guys, as I said, have just been absolutely annihilating it every stream. But dude, I'm not even 25 minutes into the stream, and you guys already crushed the 10 membership goal. So thank you so much for that, man. Really appreciate it. And as I said, anybody who's gifted memberships throughout the week, you're going more and more things to be excited about, because I'm going to start doing more things for my members. Okay. Back to what I was saying. MBG, gift me, then ungift me. Back to what I was saying. You think about a game like God of War Ragnarok. If it cost anywhere near $200 million to develop, the amount of pressure on that studio to deliver, right? To make sure, like, you can't mess this up. This game has to sell a lot. You just see that things are beginning to scale higher and higher. And I think that, I'll be honest with you. I have not read over this entire interview with Shuhei Yoshida. I've been pulling out some of the more significant things that he's talking about. I would like to read the entire interview. I'm going to. It's just it's a pretty lengthy one. But one of the things that Shu does touch on is live service. He talks about live service games, and this is, I think, very important for PlayStation fans to listen to, because it's worth noting. It's worth noting that Shuhei Yoshida does not have any control over Sony's plans when it comes to live service. But, we have to think about the fact that when AAA exclusive single-player games are, the budget of these games are hyperinflating. $150 million, $180 million, $200 million, $200 plus million. Like, in the next couple of years, it's gonna go beyond $200 million to produce a AAA single player game. And with that, the pressure is going to mount even more. It's going to be even more important for these games to land. And it's going to be even more devastating if they miss. And at the same time, a miss might not even be that bad. You know, we've all seen in certain industries how, I mean, even in the gaming industry, where a game can perform what seems to be on the surface pretty well, but then you find out it didn't make its money back, you know? Or it sold this amount, but it was actually supposed to sell this amount and it didn't, you know, and therefore it's not considered a success. So I guess what I'm saying is I think PlayStation players need to have a different view of Sony's approach to live service games and the live service model. I say this because when you factor in all of this, you factor in the ballooning budget of AAA single player games, you factor in the studios growing themselves, which we're going to talk about, and then you factor in the risk associated with all of this. Successful live service games could be exactly what PlayStation needs, exactly what Sony needs to be as a safety net. Inspector Guru, thank you so much for becoming a member, man. Welcome to Greatness Awaits. That is yet another member. I think we are at, we're at 12 members now. 12 out of 10. Very much appreciated, man. I'm going to give it just a little bit longer here before I make my little announcement. I don't want to overhype people, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm going to be delivering the greatest thing ever to my members. It's just something that I think you guys will enjoy. And it's actually something that quite a few people have been asking me to do for some time. And I thought, you know, I do a lot of regular content on the channel, a lot of streams, you know, a lot of video content. And so just a couple more minutes here, because I do notice that the viewers are going up somewhat. So live service games under PlayStation. So my title says Sony Exec says live service only future is boring. The live service only future is boring. Who said this? Yes, that's right. Master Shu said this. And I gotta be honest, like when it comes to listening to PlayStation executives, even though Shuhei Yoshida, he is the head of indies, so therefore he doesn't really have any control anymore over the AAA PlayStation exclusives. He doesn't have any control over the live service games, but he is somebody that I want to hear his opinion. Absolutely, I want to hear Shuhei Yoshida's opinion on live service games. So we're going to talk about that. Before I do, I'm going to let you guys know my plan for later this week for all of my channel members. And yes, this does include everybody who is gifted a channel membership. Something that I plan to do, and it will be a member exclusive. All right. Going forward, I plan to do some member-only streams. And these member-only streams, to be honest, who knows what's going to be included in these member-only streams. I don't know, I don't have necessarily like a written out plan, like I'm going to do this, this, and that, but I know the first thing I'm going to do. And it's going to be pretty fun because many people have asked me to do this before and I thought about it, but I'm like, I don't know. But then I realized, you know, this would be a great thing to do, I think, for members, right? For member-only streams. I'm gonna live react to some of my past videos. The first one I'm gonna live react to, and it's gonna be funny because I honestly I cannot remember what I said or what happened entirely. But I'm gonna live react to the infamous Crackdown 3 video that blew up, that I put out many years ago, where unhinged MBG leaving Xbox, destroying Xbox. It's so funny because it feels like it's so long ago. So what I'm going to do for my first members only stream, I'm going to live react. We're going to live react together to my infamous Crackdown 3 video. And I think it should be a good time. And, you know, to be honest, I think that when it comes to the member only live streams that I'm going to do, I'm going to try to do them as frequently as I can. And the thing that I want all my members to know when it comes to these live streams is they're just going to be very casual, very laid back, kind of different than what I do here for the regular streams or the regular content. And it might even get to a point where we deviate from gaming, right? Like we might even, I don't know. I saw this video pop up in my feed and it was a pretty funny one. I didn't watch it yet, but I was tempted, but I was like, yo, this could be fun. It was like just randomly a video that popped up on my feed, the 130 greatest Arnold Schwarzenegger quotes. And I was just like, you know what? Maybe I could do a member stream one day where we just, let's watch that together. Let's relive some of Arnold's classic movies, some of his classic one-liners, just for fun, just for fun. I actually came across that because I think his like Arnold Schwarzenegger is a YouTube channel, which I feel like I should have known that, but I didn't know. But yeah, just random stuff like that. But you should live react to your first ever Q&A videos. Oh my God, I actually forgot about that, dude. You're saying, MBG, why did you remove all your Xbox content? I want to see those videos. Oh, dude, you just wait, man. You just wait. I have some privated videos. Like, I think I still... Unfortunately, I don't have any of my workout videos. That would have been funny as hell to react to. I don't have any of my workout videos, but I have some of my earliest videos. Some of my earliest videos here on the channel. I think I have like 2 videos of me reviewing Xbox controllers or something. And it would be just so funny to go back and react to that. So that'll be some members only content you can look forward to. Total Recall. Consider this a divorce. That was a horrible... I swear I could do a better impression than that. I swear I can. But yeah, that's what I wanted to let all of my members know. So, shirtless reviews for members only. Yeah, that would be funny. That would be funny. Like my new profile pic, Arnie at his most yoked. Yeah, dude. I'm a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. Love Arnold. Total inspiration. So look forward to that. And, you're saying Discord. Yeah, honestly, I don't know, man. Right now, Discord is not on my radar. It's not my focus. Right now, I'm just trying to keep it to members-only community posts, members-only streams, stuff like that. So, let me see. Want your boots, jacket, and motorcycle. All right, so getting back on topic here, I have an article from Push Square. Okay. The article reads, "A future dominated by service games would be boring," says PlayStation's Shuhei Yoshida. Says here in a new interview with The Guardian, living PlayStation legend Shuhei Yoshida has spoken about the importance of creative diversity in games. At 59 years old, the Japanese veteran has seen it all over the life of Sony's gaming brand, but still finds himself saying the games industry will never cease to be a fun place. Yoshida, whose official title is Head of Independent Developer Initiative at Sony, is particularly well known for his enthusiastic approach to independent game development, and he credits Journey for the current landscape, at least in part. Quote, "When Journey received all its Game of the Year awards, not just Best Indie Game, but the best game against all these AAA titles, it started something. It had such an impact on the people who played. You could finish it in 4 hours, but it's about life and death, and people who have gone through family or close friends passing away could reflect on things they experienced as they played. I'm so fortunate to have been involved with it," end quote. The article continues by saying throughout the whole interview, Yoshida's appreciation for creativity is evident. Towards the end, he touches on the future of gaming in general. Quote, "The industry keeps growing and growing, and I hope it keeps supporting and chasing creative ideas and people who try to work on new things," end quote. But what does Yoshida think about the broader industry and the approach of big publishers? He doesn't go into too much detail, but this closing quote sums up things quite nicely. Quote, "You don't want to see the top 10 games every year being almost the same, all games becoming service games. That would be a bit boring for me," end quote. Of course, it's worth pointing out that PlayStation itself currently has a number of live service projects in the works, and while we seriously doubt that Yoshida is having a cheeky dig, it's clear that he doesn't want every studio going down the same road, and we are certainly inclined to agree. So even though it's not, it's a pretty short quote, but I think there's a lot to extract from it, honestly, right? I mean, it's worth noting that when Shuhei Yoshida was the leader of PlayStation Studios, we didn't really see live service games. We didn't really see multiplayer games. I don't know if that was just his decision alone, but now with the new leadership, with Jim Ryan and Herman Hulst running PlayStation Studios, we are seeing a major shift. And so I do 100% agree with Shuhei Yoshida, even as somebody who is very interested in seeing some of these live service games from Sony. The last thing that I want to see when it comes to the future of gaming is a landscape where, as he says, every year the top 10 games are all live service games. It's just not something that I think anybody honestly wants to see. Not even developers, not even players who enjoy the live service games. Even people who do enjoy live service games, they want to see that diversity. And so I definitely don't think that this was a dig at his own company. I don't think this is Shuhei Yoshida taking a shot at Jim Ryan and Herman Hulst. I'm sure Shuhei Yoshida is well aware that what Sony is doing with their live service games is not that. At least I don't think so. That would be a very unwise move, in my opinion. This idea that we're going to make every game going forward a live service game and every game has to be big. I don't think that that's the mentality within PlayStation Studios. So, yeah, when it comes to the live service future, Shuhei Yoshida's chiming in and he's saying that would be boring. It would be very boring. It would be very, very boring. So what I hope to see, and I think what Shu hopes to see as well, is along with those live service games, just continued diversification, right? We want diverse games, different types of games in different genres, and not every game has to be a live service. I think what Sony's trying to do is very interesting because I don't know that we've seen, please correct me if I'm wrong about this, I don't think we've ever seen something like this. What Sony is essentially trying to do is they want to allow their studios that have a major franchise. So let's just take Guerrilla Games. We're going to be talking more about Guerrilla Games here. We're going to have our big AAA, single-player, narrative-driven, exclusive game for Horizon. We got Horizon Zero Dawn. We got Horizon Forbidden West. And we're going to talk about this in just a moment, but Horizon 3 was officially confirmed. This is what PlayStation fans can expect. This is what is promised. But alongside the single-player, AAA, narrative-driven Horizon games, we're going to get, I think, maybe even two, but right now, guaranteed, one live service multiplayer game set in the Horizon universe. And the team that is developing this game is not the same team that is developing the single-player Horizon game. I've been talking about this for a long time. What Sony wants with their IP is the best of both worlds. They want their single-player games that are getting all the praise, all the high reviews, all the attention, and most importantly, selling 10, 15, 20 million plus copies and selling PS5 units as well. Sony wants that. Sony has that. Sony's going to continue to chase that and grow that. That's their bread and butter. But what they also want is they want to make that IP do more for them. They want to take that IP, that Horizon IP, that Ghost of Tsushima IP, that Last of Us IP, that intellectual property that has all this value, all this notoriety, and they want a multiplayer game out of it. They want something that can be separate from the single player, exist on its own, have a development team that just supports that version of the game, and they want it to live on. Oliver, you're saying a Ghost of Tsushima live service game could work, in my opinion. Absolutely. That's exactly what we're going to get. So you're telling me we're not getting Ghost of Tsushima 2, MBG? No, that's not what I'm telling you. We absolutely are. We absolutely are. But imagine this. Ghost of Tsushima came out, was a huge hit. Ghost of Tsushima was massive. Like, I don't know if people understand just how successful Ghost of Tsushima was, but this was a game, a brand new IP that sold 10 million plus units in just a matter of, I think, like 2 years. Or was it a year? I don't think it was 2 years. Was it a year? But it sold over 10 million copies in a pretty short period of time. Like, a lot of games don't go on to sell 10 million like that. And it's an exclusive game as well. That's worth noting. Exclusive game going on to sell 10 million. Massive hit. Now, if you recall, a multiplayer component of Ghost of Tsushima was also released called Ghost of Tsushima Legends. This was a free download. This was a free mode. I think it was more than just a mode. It was basically a free game. Like, let's be honest. People were gushing over Ghost of Tsushima Legends because of just how fleshed out it was and how awesome it was. And Sucker Punch came out and they said, anybody who bought the game, you get this multiplayer component for free. And the thing that I remember people talking about, and I can vouch for this because I put over like 130 hours in the Ghost, and a large chunk of that, or at least a significant chunk of that, was with Ghost of Tsushima Legends. People were like, this is perfect. Like, this is the perfect way to do Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer. And something else that a lot of people were pointing out is that, dude, this needs to be its own game. Like, this needs to be its own thing. And it has so much potential. And that's exactly what we're going to see. And I love that. We're going to see a full-blown live service follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima Legends. That's going to be significantly bigger, significantly more ambitious. And it's going to be supported for many, many years. And that's what we're going to get alongside Ghost of Tsushima 2. The single-player game that continues Jin Sakai's story. Now, the one negative, in my opinion, I think that this is perfect. But I understand some people are going to look at this approach by PlayStation and they're going to ask an obvious question. And I think it's a question definitely that is worth asking. And I think we do have the answer to it. The question that they're going to ask is, okay, well, that's great that Sony's still going to continue to make these single-player games and these big franchises, and they're going to have dedicated separate teams or secondary B teams, if you will. You know, A team, B team, we'll just call it B team, for each major studio working on these live service versions of these games. Does this leave, how much room does this leave for new games? Like, wouldn't it be more interesting if while Guerrilla Games was working on Horizon 3, there was another team working on a new IP? Well, I have some good news for you, okay? There are two pieces of good news here. Number one, the studios that Sony already has, like the bigger studios that are already established, they are growing to be so big that they can have up to 3 separate teams. And one team can be working on the next sequel to a major franchise. One team can be working on the multiplayer component. And then another team can be in the early conceptual stages of a new IP. All these things can happen at one time, but it's not just that, right? Obviously, it's not going to be that way for every studio. Right now, for example, Guerrilla Games, their focus seems to be 100% on Horizon. Sucker Punch, their focus seems to be 100% on Ghost of Tsushima. And it seems that with Naughty Dog, their focus is 100% on The Last of Us right now. And this may seem bad on the surface, but it's not, because you have to consider all of the other teams that PlayStation has, all of the newly acquired teams, all of the teams that we don't know what exactly they're working on. And so when it comes to expecting new IP, expecting new games, expecting different games, this is still going to happen. Even in the single player space, you are going to see some new AAA multiplayer games out of Firewalk, Haven Studio, right? You're going to see this, yes. You're going to see a new Twisted Metal, but that's not all you're going to see. you're going to see new single-player games announced as well. You're going to see a new horror game announced by, there's so many, there's multiple studios now with they start with Fire, but from Fire Sprite, you're going to see a new horror game, single-player horror game. You're going to see a new single-player IP from Santa Monica Studio. You're going to see a new IP, although I think it is going to have some multiplayer components to it, but still a new IP from Ben Studio. You're going to see new stuff. You're going to see a new single-player IP from Pixel Opus. Apparently, there's another Uncharted game in development. What's Bluepoint working on? Yeah, Ballistic Moon is making a single-player horror game for Sony. Bluepoint's very likely. I mean, to me, it's obvious that Bluepoint is working on a single-player game. Team Asobi's working on a single-player game. So these things, there's a lot in the works right now, and I feel like I have a pretty good idea and a pretty good understanding of Sony's long-term play here. And I just want to end this particular topic by highlighting something that the CEO of PlayStation, Jim Ryan, can we get some Jim Ryan emojis in the chat? Jim Ryan, our leader, Jim Ryan. That's right, our leader. We are a PlayStation cult. Jim Ryan said I think that this went under the radar. I do. I really held on to Jim Ryan saying this because I think it was really important, and I think it was very revealing about how PlayStation views the future of gaming. He said in an interview when he was asked, are you guys going to try to compete with Game Pass? He said, we don't view the subscription service model as the future of games. And by future, he means how do we continue to grow? How do we go beyond where we are? How do we get bigger than we already are? How do we create that safety net, right? Because that's something that a lot of people have pointed out with something like Game Pass and subscription services is it's kind of like a safety net, right? To a degree. He said that for us, that lies in live service games because live service games are basically like subscription services in of themselves. So I like this better. I like this better because this does mean that while Sony is willing to accept, and they have no choice really but to accept that our success comes from these big single player games, they're also coming out here and making it clear that we can do more with this, and we can create, as Jim Ryan likes to put it, a nice virtuous cycle. Josh Z, you're saying, for anyone who doesn't think it's necessary for Sony to try growing their successful IP, Pokemon by itself is worth $11 billion in revenue for Nintendo. That's what I mean. Sony, right now, Jim Ryan, the leadership under PlayStation, they feel like there's a lot more they can do with their big IP. They feel like there's a lot more they can do. And I think they're absolutely correct. And we're already seeing that. Look at The Last of Us HBO. That's Sony finding a way. How do we do more with this IP? Boom. Last of Us HBO series. We got a Last of Us multiplayer coming up. Multiplayer game. How do we do more with the IP? Let's make a multiplayer game on top of our single player games. You're doing more with it. You're growing it. So to simplify everything I'm trying to say, what Sony wants to do is saturate the markets, not just the gaming market, but they want to saturate their IP. And that may sound bad on the surface, but there is a difference between IP saturation and IP oversaturation. And what we don't want to see is Sony cross that threshold where they oversaturate. We've seen that's the risk that Sony runs right now. We've seen many, many, many video game publishers over the years oversaturate the market, multiple markets with their IP, and they run it into the ground. Oh, sorry. By the way, you didn't say it was I don't know if I read that wrong. I think you said 110 billion. Say it was a typo. Did you mean 11 billion? 110 billion sounds a bit, I don't know. It's a bit crazy. But I'm assuming you meant 11 billion, right? Another great discussion. Greetings from Poland. Well, greetings. Thanks for being here, man. So that's pretty much the first topic I had that I wanted to discuss with you. Live service games underneath Sony. Shuhei Yoshida doesn't want to see a future where it's just live service games dominating, and I think he speaks for every PlayStation fan. Every PlayStation fan when he says that would be boring. I agree. We want to see a healthy mix. I'm excited to see some of Sony's live service games. I just don't want to see them take over and be the only thing. Absolutely not. I want to see a healthy balance. Something else we're going to be talking about, we have some big news for the future of PlayStation Studios and the future of Guerrilla Games. So, I have another article here from Push Square. It says, Guerrilla Games top talent continues the takeover of PlayStation Studios. It's all change at the top of Guerrilla Games. Having just shipped Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores, a handful of the studio's top brass are taking on new positions. Perhaps most notably, Angie Smets has been promoted to Head of Development Strategy for PlayStation Studios. On her Twitter account, she says, exciting news. After an incredible journey at Guerrilla, I'm taking on a new adventure as the Head of Development Strategy at PlayStation Studios. These past 2 decades have been an absolute dream. Thank you, Guerrilla, for 20 unforgettable years. So the article continues by saying she'll move from her old job as studio director and executive producer at Guerrilla to work on Sony's first-party slate as a whole. Smets began work at the studio almost 20 years ago and has gradually worked her way up to the top management. Now she'll be leaving the team to oversee all of Sony's developers. It's an interesting trajectory, as it's similar to one of that of King Holst, Herman Holst. He was also once head of Guerrilla Games and was promoted to president of PlayStation Studios a few years ago. It appears that the Amsterdam studio is a real hotbed for talent. Perhaps we'll see more Guerrilla alumni moving into PlayStation itself in the future. So, yeah, this is a pretty big deal. This is a pretty big deal because it's true that the previous head of Guerrilla Games, Herman Holst, has moved all the way up to where he is now. He is the head of all of PlayStation Studios. And now, following that, is Angie Smets. She's now the head of strategy at PlayStation Studios. And I would like to know more about this position at PlayStation Studios. I mean, it sounds pretty important, right? Like, if you're somebody who enjoys PlayStation games, this sounds like it's pretty important. But it's worth noting that these decisions are not made lightly, right? Like, it's not like Sony's just gonna let anybody promote anybody just for the sake of doing it. No, they care very much about having the right person for the job, and so it does seem like there's something going on at Guerrilla Games, the way that they operate as a studio. They seem to be doing something that is catching Sony's eye up top that makes them think, we need to get more of them up here with us. So as what this may mean for like the future of PlayStation titles, I honestly don't know. It's impossible to say. But this is definitely a big deal for, the former head of Guerrilla Games. And, I'm assuming Herman Holst is pretty happy, right? So yeah, I wish there was more I could say on it, but that's pretty much it. That's what we know. And I guess I'm curious, like, I personally think she deserves it. I think that Guerrilla has proven that, they've done some amazing things for PlayStation. And almost, I gotta say, to me, the timing is interesting because we just got done talking about these live service games. One of the live service games that Sony has in development is this multiplayer Horizon game. And this multiplayer Horizon game has been in development for a long time. It's been in development for about 5 years now. And so I almost wonder if Sony is really impressed with what they're seeing from this multiplayer Horizon game, because I don't know, man. This role that Angie Smets is taking on, like, that's the thing, is she clearly knows how to manage studios when it comes to these single player games. She proved that with Horizon Forbidden West and the DLC. And that's, yeah, it's worth noting that, like, she may not have been the first pick. I have no way of proving that. That's just pure speculation. It's worth noting that there are likely a lot of individuals at PlayStation, at like these individual PlayStation studios, that Sony probably looks at and is like, do you want to move up? Because you're really good at your job. And we think that you could do even better managing more. But it's worth noting that, like, for example, like I see somebody mentioning like Cory Barlog, right? Like, could maybe somebody like Cory Barlog could be in this position. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. He was probably, well, I don't know. It's a little bit different, right? Because to me, I don't know that I would want to see somebody like Cory Barlog take a position like this. Because to me, he's more of like a visionary type, right? Like he's more about like, he is the person that wants to make the games. He is the one that wants to make that brand new IP. I don't imagine Cory being, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but I just don't see him being the type of person that's like, I want to manage all these different studios, you know? Yeah, so I think it really is a matter of like, I mean, we look at Hermen Hulst, for example. You know, Hermen Hulst, he's the one that had to oversee the management of Guerrilla, and he had to have vision for a game like Horizon for Zero Dawn, right? But he also clearly like enjoys the management aspect so much to where he's like, I'm gonna maybe apply to become the next head of PlayStation Studios. And you do have to be able to do, you know, to see things a little bit differently from a management perspective, I think, to reach these positions. So it could just be the type of culture they have at Guerrilla Games, right? Like just the overall culture they have when it comes to management. Maybe it's just it just transitions really well to, like, you know, upper management at PlayStation Studios. So very curious to see, guys. Very curious to see how this all works out when it's all said and done. And with that, we also have confirmation, very casual confirmation of Horizon 3. Again, from Push Square, it says, in an update that will shock absolutely no one, it seems that Guerrilla Games is working on a third mainline entry in its popular Horizon series. Earlier today, the developer announced some of its top-level staff are shifting seats, with promotions leading to some new management, and the technical director putting his focus on the Decima engine itself. However, one sentence in this update has caught the attention of Horizon fans, which pretty much says, quote, "We're making the next one," end quote, without properly saying it. After spotlighting all of the people moving up the ranks at Guerrilla, the statement goes on to talk about what comes next. Quote, "We have full confidence in our leadership as they steer Guerrilla towards a bright future, expanding the world of Horizon with Aloy's next adventure and our exciting online project." So there you go. Guerrilla's just straight up confirming we're doing Horizon 3, and we have a multiplayer Horizon game in the works. And so, yeah, can't say that this is surprising, but yeah, for those maybe who were in doubt, are we getting another adventure with Aloy? Is there going to be another proper Horizon game? Absolutely there is. Guerrilla has essentially confirmed it. Now, the only thing that I think some people might be disappointed to find out is this pretty much does confirm that Guerrilla is not working on anything other than Horizon. And so I see somebody in the chat, you're saying you're burned out on Horizon. Yeah, that's the fear with this is, as I said, it's with Sony wanting to saturate their IP, there is always the risk of oversaturation. And I think as we see Guerrilla totally focused on just Horizon, we'll see if that ends up happening. But I do think that I think it depends on this multiplayer game, because this multiplayer Horizon game, I think if it does enough things differently and it shakes things up in the Horizon universe enough, I think people might not feel that way. Like, they might not feel like I'm burned out on Horizon, because I mean, it'll be the same universe and a lot of the same, but if it's a very different type of game, people might be very interested in that. But it could go the other way as well. You know, people might be like, yeah, this is just too much. And so we will see. I'm very curious to see this multiplayer Horizon game. It's going to have Fortnite graphics. So brace yourselves. brace yourselves. It's going to have Fortnite graphics. And we have Exley 3000 coming in with just an explosion of memberships, gifting 20 new members. I think, to be honest, Exley 3000, I think that is the most amount of gifted memberships I've ever received in one time. That's so many that I can't read all their names, but I'm seeing them pop up here. 20 people in this chat just gifted memberships thanks to Exley 3000 out of nowhere, bringing our total up today to 32 new members. Exley 3000 was like, hey, I heard that MBG is going to be doing a members only live reaction to his infamous Crackdown 3 video. Let's get more people on board. Let's get them tuning in. So thank you so much for that, man. And Exley 3000, got to give you a massive shout out with this 20 gifts. Yeah, Devil Shooter with the Metal Gear exclamation point. Got to give Exley 3000 a big shout out, because honestly, I've been seeing you in streams lately, especially yesterday. I mean, just still coming out here and continuously gifting. Really, really appreciate that, Exley 3000. And you're saying happy to share with the community. That is awesome. Absolutely love to see it. So guys, make sure you check to see if you were just gifted a membership by Exley. He's giving out 20 memberships. That is a lot. I got to add that here. So give him a big thank you for doing so. Excuse all of the notifications going off, but man, it is justified right now, right? 32. I came in today with a goal of 10, and you're like, let's get it higher than that. Love to see it, man. So there we are, 32 out of 10. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Thank you so much again, Exley. Awesome. You know something I want to do at some point? I want to get a soundboard. I don't know when that's going to happen. Probably in the coming months, but I would like to get like a soundboard of some kind. And, when we have big stuff like that happen, I don't know, just get some crazy sounds. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, a soundboard would be really cool. Yeah, I think we have an awesome community here, man. Really, really do. I guess you're right. I could make my keyboard my soundboard. I would have to look into that and how exactly to do that, because I've never done it before. Get a nuke going off? Yeah, that would be a bit intense. Maybe a bit scary. I don't know. Like, I want it to sound more celebratory, a little bit less doomsday, But yeah, that could work as well, though. Definitely catch people's attention. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Again, as I say to all my members, not just my members, but anybody who views the channel, but especially channel members, we're growing things here. Things are in the works. I'm working on things every day. So any ideas for movie reviews on members only? Movie reviews, that would be interesting. I think the problem is I don't know that I watch enough movies, like frequently enough. But maybe I could do that. Like, the most recent movie I saw in the theaters was John Wick 4, I definitely have ideas brewing. That's for sure. Yeah, we'll do a reaction to Kindergarten Cop. Or MBG's live reaction to Kindergarten Cop. You know what's crazy is I see a popular genre of YouTube content that's like blowing up now is, I mean, maybe it has been for a while, but people like just reacting to things like people watching movies for the first time, people watching series for the first time, listening to music for the first time. Put that cookie down now. Dude, dude, I'm telling you, if I do a soundboard, it's just going to be all Arnold quotes. That's what's going to happen. Make some game reviews. Yeah, people have been asking me for that for a while. I find, to be honest, the reason why I find it tough to review games is because I feel like, I don't know, I just, the added pressure messes with me when I'm playing games, man. I prefer to just talk about the games I'm playing, like during the podcast and stuff. Lately, it's been a lot less because I've been all over the place. You see, we got Nuts on Chin saying, I need my final Horizon. My finale of Horizon. People go kick rocks. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the question I have. Horizon 3, right? We got Horizon 3. I mean, do we think Horizon 3 is going to come out this generation? Or do you think Horizon 3 is going to be a PlayStation 6 game? It's not a Tuma. Sorry, I'm just seeing people in the chat talk about Kindergarten Cop, and I got like these different quotes popping in my head. I'm going to ask you a serious question. Is Horizon 3 going to be PS6 or PS5? And then I'm just going to say in Arnold's voice, it's not a tumor. A lot of you guys are saying it's going to be a cross-gen game, a PS5 and a PS6 game. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. And you know what's crazy to think is we look at Horizon Burning Shores. Yeah, Jingle All the Way, shout out to that movie. I watch that every year with my family. That's my Christmas movie, Jingle All the Way. Absolutely. But I just keep seeing random Arnold quotes in the chat. I love it. Absolutely love it. I do think Horizon 3 is going to be a cross-gen game, though. That would make sense. And, you know, we look at Horizon Burning Shores. Dude, Horizon Burning Shores, yes, it is PS5 only. And yes, it's definitely doing some PS5 only things. But my God, just imagine what Horizon 3 is going to look like. Because something we know with PlayStation Studios is at the end of a console generation, PlayStation Studios do some wild things, graphically speaking. They do some unexpected, what seem like impossible things with the hardware. And I have no doubt that when we see Horizon 3, it's going to, like, for as good as Forbidden West looks, and especially the Burning Shores, oh man, can't even imagine how good that game is going to look. But another question I had, and I wanted to ask you guys, is we know we're getting Horizon 3. We know we're getting the Horizon multiplayer game. What do we think? And I know it's maybe too early to be asking this, but I can't help but wonder, what do we think we're going to get after Horizon 3 from Guerrilla? Like, do you think that's when they're going to say, because that's the thing you're saying, the finale of Horizon, I think that's the assumption is that Horizon's going to be a trilogy. Do we get a brand new IP from Guerrilla after that? That's what I'm wondering. I think it would be great if they did it that way. If they did a trilogy for Horizon, and then once that's wrapped up, they have their Horizon multiplayer game that they can maintain, then move on to a new IP, and then do a trilogy for that new IP. Maybe a spin-off. I would love to see a new IP. I know a lot of people want them to go back to Killzone. I don't think they ever will. I'll be honest with you. I'll be completely honest. I know this is going to pain some people. I don't think Killzone's ever coming back. I know that's tough for some people to hear, but that I don't think it's ever coming back. Which is sad. You know why I think it's sad? For one simple reason. I think that the idea of Killzone never coming back is sad because we are entering a new age of PlayStation where they are trying to make successful live service games. And I feel like Killzone could have been a really successful live service game. I really think that. And I just think that it went away too soon, you know? But at the same time, here's the thing. I got to be completely honest with myself here. If the choice is between reviving an older IP or developing a new one, I feel like I'm always going to choose developing a new one. Not always, but in this case, I feel like I would love to see after Horizon 3, maybe during sometime during the PlayStation 6 generation, which is a while from now, which is crazy to think how long it might take. But I would love to see it. I would love to see Guerrilla, take a shot at another new IP, because if their first attempt at a brand new IP is the Horizon games, I mean, what else can they do? And actually, there is one other topic I wanted to let you guys know about. It's Guerrilla Games. I think another reason why Sony might view Guerrilla Games as like a really, I don't know, just important studio is because of the Decima engine. I have a report here, once again from Push Square. They've been doing a good job covering this. They say that it sounds like PlayStation has grand plans for Guerrilla's ambitious Decima engine. It says one of the main reasons Horizon Zero Dawn took so long to make is because Guerrilla Games created a brand new engine with which to build it, known as the Decima engine. It's only been put to use on a few games so far that we know of, but the results speak for themselves. In addition to Aloy's debut and the sequel, Horizon Forbidden West, Kojima Productions famously used Decima to develop Death Stranding, and also Death Stranding 2. It sounds like that's far from the end of this engine. As part of a management shakeup at Guerrilla Games, technical director Michael Liu, I guess is how you say his name, has announced he will be working on Decima full time. In a LinkedIn post, Vanderloo says he'll be focusing on, quote, our ambitious future plans for our own Decima engine, end quote. He says the team has, quote, crafted a studio roadmap and future direction for our Decima engine so ambitious, end quote, that it now requires his full attention. Of course, we don't know what the future direction looks like. We can hazard a guess that more PS studios may move on to Decima going forward. It could also allude to developing tools that allow the engine to be used for online service games, which is obviously a strategy right now at PlayStation. So, very interesting, guys. I mean, I gotta say, like, the Decima engine is a really amazing engine. Right? I think we can all agree on that. Like any game, granted, we haven't seen, as it says, a lot of games. We haven't seen a lot of games. Somebody actually left a comment here that I think is interesting. They say, I don't mind more studios using the Decima engine, but I hope it won't be a mandate like EA did with Frostbite. If a studio wants to use it, great. If not, let them choose what's best for their games. I don't think Sony would be dumb enough to make that move because it doesn't make any sense. Sony is not EA. Because EA really did screw up when they were like, everybody's going to use the Frostbite engine, and then their development teams were just like struggling like all hell because they're like, this engine doesn't work very well with the type of game we're trying to make. Yeah, those types of mandates absolutely do destroy studios. And I there's no way Sony's dumb enough to ever do something like that. I think the goal, if I had to guess what Sony's goal is with the Decima engine, it's to streamline it as best they can, to make it something that studios choose to use, that they would want to use, make it as good a fit for as many games as possible. I think that might be the goal. We see what's going on with Unreal Engine 5. We've seen how vital an engine like Unreal has been for the video game industry for decades. Right? I don't know that Sony's ambitions are that lofty. I don't know that they're like, we want the Decima engine to be the next Unreal Games, Unreal Engine. But they clearly think that there's something here with their engine that they would like to build upon. And so, yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. I don't know if it has been confirmed or not. I think it's been confirmed that Death Stranding 2 is using the Decima engine, right? I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed. Dude, go watch that Death Stranding trailer. Like, I talk about how good Horizon 3 is going to look, but I just realized that we're going to get Death Stranding first. Yeah, we're going to get Death Stranding first. And I just realized, like, actually, we're going to see And that's the thing. If you play Kojima's games, man, like he's always on the cutting edge with graphics. To be honest, I don't know. I feel like Kojima Productions is a little bit underrated. And I mean, you even if you go play Metal Gear Solid 4 on a PS3, that game still holds up, man. Don't get me wrong. You could tell like it's a PS3 game and it came out in 2008, but dude, it's shocking like how good that game looked at that time. Kojima Productions is very talented. So, yeah, I fully expect that Death Stranding 2 is going to melt some people's faces. No doubt about it. Man, I had the craziest dream last night. Oh, man, you guys are in for you're going to be like, this is the most MBG dream I've... Like, of course you would have this dream, MBG. Why wouldn't you have this dream? I kid you not. I had a dream last night, and talking about Kojima Productions just reminded me of it. You know, you have to understand, like, dreams are very blurry, you know? They're hard to really... Like, the fine details are lost. But essentially what the dream was, I was at a Jeff Keighley show. I feel like it was Summer Game Fest. And for some reason, I was supposed to go up on stage. Yeah, because, you know, that's how you know it's a dream, right? I was supposed to go up on stage with Hideo Kojima and Jeff Keighley. Yeah, I dream about games, bro. To be honest, I like never have dreams about video games. That's why this was so weird. It was very strange. I looked down and I was naked. No, but it was a bit embarrassing because I was up on stage and it was live and there was like a little ad break and I had to go up on stage with Kojima and Jeff Keighley and, you know, everything was kind of scrambling to get into place. And I was like totally overwhelmed because I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Yeah, I was his translator. I was supposed to be Kojima's translator. No, but Jeff Keighley kept whispering something to me. Like he kept trying to tell me something, like a question that he wanted me to ask Hideo Kojima at a specific moment. And I couldn't hear what he was saying. Like he kept whispering it to me and he was getting annoyed with me. Like, dude, I had a dream where Jeff Keighley was getting annoyed with me as Kojima's just standing there looking at me. And I was like, I started to panic because I was like, dude, he's like, we're about to go live in 5 seconds. Like, I don't know what you just said to me. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. But the reason why it was also a good dream was because it turns out what Kojima was getting ready to announce. And I think I woke up shortly after this because I was like, oh, well, that would never happen because he would have to work with Konami. He announced a entire complete Metal Gear Solid remaster, and it was like a cutting edge remaster where it was like close to being a remake for every game. And with Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots in particular, they included the multiplayer. They said that they were going to have the multiplayer component of Metal Gear Online 2 remastered for the PS5. MVG wanted to be the Matan. Yeah, dude, and I was like losing my mind. I don't know what happened in the dream, but I felt like I basically just ran off stage and was like freaking out, being like, they did it, it's happening. But man, I gotta say, like, that was a bizarre dream. I think, you know what, if I'm recalling correctly, I think I just ran off stage and took a seat. You know, like it almost felt like in the dream, I knew I'm not supposed to be up here. The reason why I can't understand what Jeff Keighley's telling me is because I'm supposed to be watching, I'm not supposed to be part of the announcement. Such a weird dream, dude. But man, let me tell you, I really woke up feeling like, God damn it. When are these Metal Gear remasters and remakes going to get announced? Josh Z, you're saying, I double checked because I want it to be accurate. Pokemon is currently worth between 70 and 90 plus billion dollars, depending on the source. Not quite six figures, but as of 2019, the Pokemon Company website doesn't say. Wow, dude. 70 and 90 billion? That is wild. That is what. Maybe Microsoft's going to try to buy it. Microsoft can afford that. Microsoft owning Pokemon? Is it yen? I don't know. I'm assuming. Well, Josh is trying to be accurate here. I'm assuming it's not yen. Pokemon is already owned by 3 separate entities. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not familiar with that. I have no idea. I have no idea about like the worth of Pokemon. I know Pokemon's extremely popular and valuable. Game Freak, Nintendo, and somebody else. I mean, the Pokemon games, I know the Pokemon games still come out frequently, and I don't play them. What's going on with the Pokemon games? What's going on there? I mean, I'll be honest, the last thing I remember hearing about the Pokemon games is they came out and they were like kind of broken and they like never got fixed. Is that true? But like it didn't matter because it like like people wouldn't stop buying it. It like sold a ridiculous amount of money. It sold a ridiculous amount of money. It sold and made a ridiculous amount of money. Is what I meant to say. I don't know. I haven't been following Pokemon. Also, Pokemon is basically Madden. They have been patched. Okay, that's good to know. It's because I feel like I saw a joke where somebody made a joke where they're like, "Oh, we didn't. What Nintendo didn't tell us is that the Pokemon patch was going to come in the form of a new Nintendo Switch, like the next generation of Nintendo Switch." And I thought that was a pretty funny joke. Yeah, they sold like 20 million copies. That's crazy. Dream interpretation with MBG. They've been patched out and the issues have been resolved. That's good. That's good news. Yeah, I haven't played the Pokemon games in many, many years. It's been like, I don't even know how long, dude. Definitely more than 12 years. But yeah, you know, it's funny. I see a lot of you guys in the chat. You're mentioning that dude. You know, I got the Game Awards last year. The Bill Clinton kid. This Bill Clinton kid. He's famous now, bro. Like, yeah, his name's something, Matan something, and I randomly came across his Twitter profile. Dude, he's got like almost 250,000 followers. This dude became famous. He created a character. The Bill Clinton kid created a character, and he's now fully in that character. And now he is like internet famous, and all these popular influencers and podcasts and everything, he gets invited to them and stuff. And you're saying he's been doing it since he was even younger? That's crazy, dude. That's wild. And he made it. He made it, man. He actually did it. He created a caricature, and he's living it. He's living it. Yeah, he's basically a famous troll. I should get him on my podcast. He'll own me. He'll roast me. And it'll be legendary. Dude, I would be scared to talk to somebody like that on like a live show or something, because I'd be like, dude, I don't know what you're gonna say. But I have a feeling it's gonna go poorly for me. That was so crazy, man. You know what? Jeff Keighley should invite him back to the Game Awards. Straight up. Jeff Keighley should actually actively invite him to the Game Awards. Don't encourage him. This is not behavior you want him to continue. The Bill Clinton kids roast of MBG. Oh, man. Some members only content right there. That'd be some fire members only content. Some people living off their mental issues, and some think they are cool and edgy. I mean, that's the thing. I'll be honest, like I don't follow it close enough. I don't know how far it goes. I do think it does border on the, it's like, I don't know. To me, it almost comes off as like absurdist type comedy to a degree, right? Like, I mean, I think of like what's his name? The Eric Andre. Like Eric Andre borders on like, he kind of seems like he's a character, like he created a character, but you realize it's not actually a character. It's just maybe a somewhat overly exaggerated version of himself with his nihilistic comedy. It's like nihilistic comedy, you know? Eric Andre is funny as hell, but I don't know, things are. I feel like some people are taking it to another level, but I think it makes sense. It does make sense though, doesn't it? Like in the age of the internet, in the age of internet fame and people wanting to become memes, to become famous, and you know, it's like the less professional things get, the easier. Yeah, bird up. There we go. It's crazy. Getting really sick of people excusing being a wanker with mental illness. No way. You're joking. You're saying that kid was on InfoWars? Isn't that Alex Jones' show? Nuh-uh. See, this is how it's like, it's all a joke, right? Like, it all has to be a joke. That's crazy, if true. He's a huge troll. That's funny. It's funny. I guess it seems so funny to me because I'm not really paying much attention. Like, I just come across some random stuff sometimes. The internet is a weird place, man. It is. I mean, it can be as weird or as not weird as you want it to be. He broke character a few times. Dude, that's the whole thing with it, man. When you see people who are in character, like you want to see, like, do they ever break character? Do they ever break character? I couldn't imagine doing that. I really, like, it would be like if every time I streamed, I had to play a character, and no matter what, like, I can't break that character. That's very difficult. But I guess that's kind of the fun of it, right? Starscream, you're saying, hey, MBG, just joined in, but have you played the Burning Shores DLC? It's so good. I'm blown away by it. Still the best looking game out there. I haven't played it yet, but you know what? I'm seeing more and more videos. Dude, maybe I'm being a little bit spoiled. I'm okay with it, though. I'm okay with it because I want to see it. Like Dr. Disrespect. That must be some hard thing to... MBG playing Arnold Schwarzenegger without breaking character. Yeah, okay. That would be wild. I've been seeing some footage of the end boss battle, which I'm not going to spoil or say anything about. All I will say is some of this footage that I've been seeing, I am like, oh my God. Like, it's wild, dude. Like, it is like, as I was saying, it's a shame that I think everybody's focused on the wrong thing. Everybody's focused on the wrong thing. We need an Arnold Yell, MBG. We get up to 40 members. I'll do an Arnold Yell. I hate doing things on the spot. It just has to happen spontaneously. When I'm put on the spot, I'm like guaranteed to screw it up. The thing was also optional. Yeah. Well, dude, that's the whole thing about it is that, like, I feel like people are focused on the wrong things with this Horizon Burning Shores thing, because when I see the footage and these clips of this ending boss battle, I'm just like, how, like, what? Maybe it's a little bit spoiler. Right? And that's why people aren't talking about it. But I'm like, why aren't more people talking about this? This looks wild. This looks insane. RP Gaming, thank you for gifting another membership, man. Gifted to Mohammed. RP Gaming is like, yo, I want to hear MBG do an Arnold scream. Yeah, I'm not spoiling anything about the ending because like I haven't even played it myself, but I've been seeing some video footage of it, and I'm like, dude, people should. I don't even think people should care anymore whether it's a spoiler or not. Like they should be aware of what's going on here because it's insane. It's absolutely insane. But thank you, RP Gaming. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you for gifting another membership. We are at, what is that? 33 now. 33 new members. Awesome. Let me see. Kendall Fire saying you weren't going to be buying Burning Shores, but you looked at the final boss and now you're torn. Did anyone clip MBG chugging tea yesterday? Domingo 813, you're saying, cut the crap, MBG. When are you doing another chug? I mean, look, I got the tea. I got the tea here. It's the same tea that I was drinking yesterday. I'm trying to drink it a lot more because it really helps my throat out a lot. But the thing about it is it was made correctly this time. It's still pretty strong, but it's still a little intense, but it's nowhere near like yesterday. Yesterday I screwed my tea up and it was way too strong. And then I made the mistake of saying, hey guys, if we get 50 new members, I'll chug this tea. And then literally within like 2 minutes, we got to 50 members. And I was like, oh, I didn't think that would work. Definitely not like that. Paul Gannell gifting another membership. Paul Gannell's like, I want to hear that MBG Arnold scream. Gifting Insaneberry. Insanesberry? Thank you so much, Paul. You could still clip MBG drinking the tea. It was just in the stream. That's true. Thank you for that, Paul. Thank you for the another gifted membership. Bring us up to 34. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. One of these days, I'm going to have to... I'm going to do like a challenge where I'm going to put like an insane number of new members. And they can't be... I don't know. It can't be something too easy. And I'll do like the rest of my podcast. We hit that goal, do the rest of my podcast talking like Arnold Schwarzenegger, doing my Arnold impression. See, the problem with my Arnold Schwarzenegger impression is I can do it, but I can't do it perfectly. Like it has to be like an over-exaggerated version of Arnold. Because if you actually listen to how he talks, I mean, you know, it's just like he has a thick Austrian accent. And I feel like I can only remotely mimic him by being like overly exaggerated. Let me see here. Do it for a minute. You can do it. I get to just do it. I'll try to do a little. Oh, there we go. Xley 3000's like, you're doing it, MBG. All right, well, I have to now. But that dude, Xley 3000, before I do it, thank you so much, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. Xley 3000, you have gifted a tremendous amount of memberships today. We are at 44, dude. That is awesome. Thank you. Xley 3000 gifting us. Yeah. Yeah. I feel so, I don't know. I feel like I got to react to something. I'm just going to do an Arnold scream randomly. Guys are going to make me blush. Get to the chopper. Come on, do it. Do it now. Become a channel member. Dude, my wife is probably in the other room like, what the fuck is going on in there? You know what's funny? Dude, boss is over here sleeping on my bed. I'm over here screaming like Arnold. Zero reaction, bro. Zero reaction. That's pretty good, though. I mean, dude, this is why I'm saying I literally want to do a members-only stream where I react to the 130 greatest Arnold Schwarzenegger quotes by trying to mimic them. Okay, make sure you hit that like button. Get to the chopper. Get down now. Dude, you know what? You guys know I still play some Dead by Daylight, and I saw that apparently there's a rumor that they're going to do like an Alien chapter. And I was like, that's awesome, but my God, I would love to see a Predator chapter and bring Arnold's character in. Bring Dutch in as a survivor. Oh my God. I'd be streaming that. Dude, that's funny. Jay Pierce saying, get to the chopper, get down now. What's one of the funnier Arnold quotes? What's one of the funnier ones? There's so many. Dude, I remember I watched this interview with Arnold. I'm not even gonna, you know what? I'm not gonna that's demonetizable content right there. I'm not gonna talk about that. If you know the interview, you know the interview. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Oh man, that's a tough one. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. There you go. You're quiet boy. You're quiet boy compared to me. Dude, people are out here being like, yo, MBG has been working on this Arnold voice forever. He's been waiting for it to come out. Dude, I kid you not, when I was like a teen, I was making these jokes. Consider that a divorce. The rest of this podcast is just me doing an Arnold impression. Domingo 813. Hasta la vista, baby. Dude, that has to be his most famous line, right? That can you believe how much I'm in heaven? You know the interview. No, you know what? It's not hasta la vista. It has to be I'll be back. I'll be back has to be his most iconic line. I'll be back. I'll be back. And he says it in like so many, it became so famous. Dude, yeah, his Batman and Robin lines. Chill. I love it, dude. Arnold's my hero. Oh. Nothing's going on in here, I promise. I'm just doing my live stream talking about PlayStation. Dude, my wife just said to come in and grab some from the bedroom. And the look she just gave me, she's like, what is happening? And I'm just like, just my PlayStation stream. You know how it goes here. Nothing crazy. No, she gives me that look, but who's she fooling? I'm doing this shit all the time. I've been doing this shit since I was a teenager. She knows it. Allow me to break the ice. It's turbo time. Dude, I'm telling you, I've seen Jingle All the Way has been, I don't know, man, that movie has been torn down, right? Like, I've seen so many people hating on Jingle All the Way, being like, that's not a Christmas movie. Like, no, it is. It is. Jingle All the Way is absolutely a Christmas movie. How long have me and my wife been together? I mean, we've been together for a long time, man. We've been together since we were teenagers. I love Jingle All the Way. Yeah, we watch it every year. It's a tradition. To be honest, though, I mean, my channel name, Muscle-Bound Gamer, big reason for it. As I said, I was at one point, I was like really trying to get into bodybuilding, fitness, and dude, Arnold Schwarzenegger, no joke, really was like my biggest inspiration, as I'm sure he was for almost all bodybuilders, almost everybody. I mean, he really did pave the way. He's not the only one, of course, but yeah, no, he's really like one of my childhood heroes. I saw apparently he has like a Netflix show coming up, which is cool to think about. Like, I thought he was completely retired from acting, but apparently he has a new Netflix show. So, definitely going to check that out. Domingo 18 from Pumping Iron. Come on, let's get serious. Come on, let's get serious. Let's get serious. Pumping Iron. This is going to turn into an Arnold podcast. What I gotta say that this particular stream went into a very wild direction, and I gotta give a shout out to XLE3000 for everybody who was hoping that they would hear MBG's Arnold impersonation and hear MBG go off that way. You can all thank, everybody who gifted memberships, but definitely XLE3000 responsible for pretty much 30 of the gifted memberships, which is say Jim Ryan in the Arnold voice. Jim Ryan. See, it's a little bit exaggerated. Dude, I don't know. Sony should hire Arnold as like their spokesperson. Now that would be something. I think I'm on to something here. Dude, I can only imagine like any of my viewers just randomly seeing my stream pop up and they're like, oh, MBG's talking about Sony Executive, live service only future, big news for PlayStation Studios. And they click on it and literally the first thing they hear is me just like screaming in an Arnold voice or doing some kind of Arnold quote. And they're just like totally like, where am I? What did I click on the wrong stream? I love it. If the RoboCop game does well, we will have a new Terminator game. Yeah, that would be good, man. That would be really good. There have been Terminator games in the past, but I think they've all been pretty bad. And Jake, thank you for gifting another membership, man. Gifting to Full Sweat Tryhard. Shout out to you, Jake, keeping the train going. That's 45 members. I came in here with the goal of 10 and we're at 45. If you guys want to help round it out at a nice 50, that'd be awesome. But 45 members, very, very, very impressive. I love it. PlayStation has acquired Arnold. Yeah. Who's still getting... Yeah, so what's going on with that? Let me look into that. You're asking who's still getting Jedi Survivor physically. I saw that there was something going on with that. I didn't actually read about it yet, but I saw a headline. I want to figure out what's going on there. Let me see. I'm on Push Square's website. It says Star Wars Jedi Survivor PS5 physical copies required. Download to play. We know that Star Wars Jedi Survivor has one of the biggest PlayStation 5 file sizes ever, so it's no surprise to learn that physical copies come with a disclaimer demanding a download. Box art for the anticipated release includes download required, small print above the age rating, meaning you'll have to set aside some time to install the additional data before you play. This isn't a massive surprise, as the maximum capacity of a Blu-ray on PS5 is around 100 gigabytes, and this game is coming in at 147 gigabytes, which is insane. That is wild. I guess it is to be expected to a degree. I don't know. Is it? I guess I don't know. How do people feel about this? I'm reading some of the comments on Push Square. Somebody says, and these are like the upvoted comments. Somebody said, I canceled my physical pre-order just now. Getting major deja vu here with Fallout 76 and the newer Call of Duties, where whatever data is on your disc is so minimal. Somebody else is saying, I'm not a fan of this. They should have shipped it with a second or even third disc. Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, that's what would have happened in the past. Yeah, that's kind of messed up. I don't know. I'm still going to get it physically, though. I'm not going to, I don't know. I'm not happy about it, but, I was planning on buying the game physically. I'm still going to get it physically. Definitely would have preferred everything to be on the disc or to have 2 discs potentially, but it's fine. Okay, I mean, it's fine for me. I honestly, I feel like this isn't something I can get myself worked up over. I'm just heading over to Twitter real quick, seeing if there's any news as I was streaming. Sony's apparently this was from the interview. Sony's Shuhei Yoshida has discussed how AI will change the nature of learning for game developers. People might not even need to learn programming anymore. Well, damn. Benji Sales is announcing Dead Island 2 has sold 1 million units in its first 3 days. This is a strong result. Yeah, I mean, considering Dead Island 2 was a game that at one point wasn't even supposed to happen. Right? Like, it seemed like it was going to get canceled. PlayStation Productions head Assad Kizilbash says they will apply the same care and formula that they did with The Last of Us to their live action adaptations of Horizon and God of War. Okay. All right. Anything else? Anything else here? Nope. I don't think so. I think we basically covered the news for today. And let me see over here. Just make sure I'm not missing. Yeah, guys, I think this might do it for this stream. I was just checking to see if there was anything that popped up over the course of this stream, but I think I pretty much covered all the points I wanted to cover here. I mean, we had Shuhei Yoshida giving his thoughts on live service future, talked about Horizon 3, talked about Guerrilla Games, Angie Smets being promoted, and of course, vitally, we did some Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonations here on the stream. All very important things that I wanted to achieve over the course of this stream. But yeah, this was a fun stream, and I had a good time. Saying would love some breaking news about now. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested. You know, this week is going to be interesting no matter what. There are interesting things happening, but I can't wait till we move into May. I think because if it's true that Sony's going to have a showcase at the end of May, dude, we're going to start to feel things heat up very soon. Very soon. Jerry A is screaming, abandon app update. Oh, man. Will I be streaming Wednesday on the CMA's decision? It depends. Like, I want to say there's a decent chance I will, but it really depends on what comes out of it, right? Like, if there's nothing interesting for me to add to the conversation, I might not stream. But if I feel like there's something more I want to say about it, then I will stream. Jay Pierce, you're saying do the my cookies, put my cookie down. Put that cookie down now. That's the one. That's from Jingle All the Way. Put that cookie down. Breaking, MBG has acquired Blue Box Game Studios. All right. I think that's going to do it for the stream, guys. Almost a 2-hour stream. That's the thing. I think the trick with some of these streams that I'm going to be doing throughout the week, though, is I don't know if I'm going to be able to, I mean, I can tell you right now, I'm not going to be able to make them as long as the podcast. Nowhere near. The podcasts a lot of times are 3-4 hours, 4+ hours. Please give us an outro in an Arnold voice. I'm going to need 5 more members if we're going to do that, all right? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Oh, geez, that sounded weird. That sounded like a hybrid of Arnold and MBG. Take care, everyone. Come back tomorrow to the stream. Gonna have lots of news. Gonna talk about, I don't know, what's supposed to, is there anything supposed to happen tomorrow? I know Sony's supposed to do their, now I'm just going in and out of MBG and Arnold, and it's getting pretty weird in here. But isn't there supposed to be any news tomorrow? Somebody had mentioned Sony's earnings is happening this week. Oh God. So I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We'll see. But there you go, Domingo 813. I don't know. Maybe we'll keep setting membership goals for the Arnold voice to come out. I knew this was always going to eventually become a thing on my channel. Is it the 28th? Yeah, it might be the 28th, Friday. That should be it. See, the reason why I'm going to be paying close attention to the upcoming earnings report from Sony is because it's going to be their yearly earnings. It's going to be yearly, so we're going to get some pretty good information. Let me see. We got... What game am I playing at the moment? I am playing Dead Island 2. Do I own any stock? No, I don't own any stock in Sony. I'm just the reason why I'm interested is because since it's their yearly earnings, we're going to get, I think, potentially some pretty good insight into their plans for the next year. And when, we'll learn more about new IP, how much they're investing in it, games. I mean, should be interesting. We'll learn about these live service games. Richard Rodriguez, you're saying, that time we were chilling, you KO'd that Xbox, dude. Yeah, I KO'd him, man. KO'd him. Well, that's gonna do it, guys. I'm gonna hop off the stream now. I want to try to get a video out today because again, I want to keep the video content going. I know the question is, am I going to be streaming tomorrow? I don't know. There's a good chance. I mean, the reason why I keep streaming is because they keep going really well. You guys keep showing up to the streams. Huge, absolutely massive shout out to everybody who continues to gift memberships. That's the main focus of the channel right now is memberships. Super chats are very much appreciated. Viewership is incredibly appreciated, but right now it really is the channel memberships. I'm trying to grow it as much as I can, and I'm trying to grow the channel in that way. That's the type of support that I need right now, and you guys have been showing up in full force, continuing to do that. Again, big shout out to Exley 3000 today for gifting, I think over 30 memberships to everybody, which is awesome. But shout out to everybody who gifted memberships, and that's gonna do it. Yeah, so pretty bizarre stream. I gotta admit, like I didn't go into the stream thinking that I was gonna be doing Arnold voice, but here we are saying MBG's doing streams because of the money. Well, hey man, that's the thing. I'm trying to make this a full-time gig here, hanging out with the stream, with the audience, providing content every day. In order to make that happen, I'm going to need fan funding. No doubt about that. No doubt about it. So yeah, I mean, again, if you're somebody who wants to support the channel, feel free. I also want to say, and this is just a small little micro rant. I'll call it a micro rant because it's going to last less than 30 seconds. But I saw a comment from somebody in my podcast yesterday where they were like, you're spending more time talking about super chats and memberships than you are. This bothers me because it's like, dude, the podcast was 4.5 hours. The podcast was 4.5 hours. Like, first of all, the bulk of that podcast was me definitely not talking about super chats and memberships. But here, yeah, we'll call it a nano rant, even smaller. But the thing that bothered me about it is like, dude, the people who are super chatting, the people who are becoming members, they deserve to be talked about. That, like, they deserve the spotlight. They deserve the attention. And I understand that for viewers who are, maybe not supporting in that way, it can get a little bit much, but I just would like people to try to be a little bit more understanding that, these are individuals who are going out of their way to directly support the channel in like really the most meaningful way they can, in the most important way. And I just want to be sure that they know that it's not taken for granted and it's very much appreciated and that they deserve a spotlight for that. So, I mean, look, I'll try not to go too crazy. I know I sound a bit like a broken record, but you guys deserve it. You do. everybody who's gifting memberships, everybody who's super chatting, you guys deserve the attention and the shout outs. So anyway, that does it, guys. Hit that like button on your way out. Look forward to, hopefully, if it all goes according to plan, a video later today, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. So until next time, guys. Jesus. See you guys.